Hey Michelle! I wrote in a comment that I was going to make a video response to clarify about whether young girls should be allowed to wear the hijab in primary school. Now I have to explain that first of all, primary school in Holland goes up to the age of 12. So this would usually only go for the final year of primary school, since in Holland anyway, most of the Muslim girls follow a rule that says that they should start wearing the hijab when they get their first period. Second of all, the largest part of the Muslim community in The Hague, the city where I lived, came from Turkey. And as I was told, in Turkey, Muslim women aren't allowed to wear their hijab in public buildings, and a school is a public building. Third, nobody else in Holland is allowed to wear anything on their heads inside a school building, because taking off whatever you have on your head when you come inside somewhere is a big unwritten etiquette rule in Holland. It shows respect for whoever you're talking to when you come into a room or into a shop, or whoever sort of owns the place or is there already. When you come in, you take off whatever's on your head. This means that there's very strict rules that kids cannot wear baseball caps or fashionable hats or etc. etc. I know that a hijab is not a fashionable item of clothing, so it should be treated separately. But it is also not comparable to what you said, like wearing a cross around your neck or a triple goddess around your neck. Because sure, people can wear crosses, triple goddesses, Fatima's hand, or, you know, whatever. But a hijab is much more... The Dutch word would be ingrijpend. The English word is much more intrusive. No, not intrusive. I don't know the word. But yeah, first of all, when you wear the hijab, you can't follow one of the rules of the culture, which is to show respect by taking off what's on your head. And then we come to another question, really, of integration. So how far do you want immigrants to integrate into the new culture? And in that question, I think it's very important that you are alert to not losing your home culture. And the new country of where you live should never ask you to lose your home culture. But I do think that they can ask you to conform to the unwritten set of social rules of how people treat one another. And there's one more thing that you said that I wanted to respond to, and that was that you said that, especially in a country as Holland, there was no oppression to wear the hijab. And I think, of course, I have never lived inside a Muslim family in Holland, but I think you're very wrong, unfortunately. The people that immigrate to Holland are people from the small villages in Turkey and Morocco. And those people have told me themselves that the social rules and the oppression in the small villages of Turkey and Morocco is still much bigger and stronger than it is in the cities. With that comes that when someone immigrates or migrates to another country, your culture development comes to a standstill. This means that third generation Muslim immigrants in Holland still live according to the social rules and social oppression habits of at least 50 years ago, because that's when their grandparents came to our country. Or maybe 30 to 50 years. But that's a huge difference between 30 to 50 years ago and now. And I mean, that's not an attack to them, that the fact that their cultural development comes to a standstill. That's just what happens when you immigrate to another country. Because you don't want to lose your own culture. So you hold on to how you knew that your culture was. And you hold on to those old ways of how you used to do it back home. Even though back home, right now, they don't do that anymore. Sort of. Okay. So yeah, old-fashioned families from the small villages have moved to Holland. And family honor is a huge issue, actually, in the big cities in Holland when it comes to Muslim families. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of honor crime, as it's called in Holland. I don't know what it's called in other countries, but it even has an official name. It's called honor crime. And girls maybe can't be made by their parents or brothers to wear the hijab. They can't physically be made, but they can definitely be emotionally pressured into it, and I think it happens a lot. And yeah, I think I've said everything I meant to say right now. I also absolutely understand your point of view, and I think my point of view is very specific for the population that migrated to Holland. The Muslim group, the Muslim community that is now living in Holland. I think my opinion is very specific to them. And to the fact that in Holland it's very important. It sounds really ridiculous right now. Like you will die if you don't take off your hat when you go into a shop. But it really is a huge rule. And I never really noticed that when I lived in Holland, but now that I moved to Sweden, then I suddenly noticed it, because when I walk into a shop, I take off my hat. Even though it's -20 outside, I take off my hat. Out of habit. As soon as I step inside, automatically my hat comes off. And other people don't do that. And it wasn't until then, until I saw that for the first time, that I realized how big a deal that actually is in Holland. It really is a part of showing respect and showing all of you. I think that's where it came from originally, showing all of you, so showing that you're not hiding anything. And yeah, from that respect, I think that especially in primary school, remember that's only up to the age of 12, sometimes 13, that they shouldn't wear a hijab. But, as with all my opinions, they're definitely not held into stone, or however you say that. They're not hammered into stone or whatever. So, yeah. But that's it. So, now I'm gonna go. Anyway, see you next time. And like I said in the previous video, I'm still looking for the right verses, but we'll come to that later. Okay, bye-bye!